god, I'd never imagined He-Man taking on Bane in any DC universe, let alone the Injustice universe.
I'm in love with a hero. I'm in love with the one who will...
Hello, comic book people of the world. Let's talk about the second issue to Injustice vs. Masters of the Universe. This is written by Tim Seeley and it was illustrated by Freddie E. Williams II. Little recap. This version of the Masters of the Universe we've seen previously when they took on the Thundercats, and this version of the Injustice universe is the version where Superman becomes one with the whole Brainiac tech, and he becomes even more impossible to stop with Batman and Wonder Woman both being on his team. The heroes from the Injustice universe go to Eternia to try to recruit He-Man and the other Masters of the Universe to fight Superman. Reluctantly, Prince Adam, being that his mother is from Earth, decides to help him out. However, there are other forces at play here, particularly Darkseid of Apocalypse. We begin this issue where the home of Stratos, Avion, is invaded by Apocalypse. I like that we get cameo appearances of Hawk or Captain Hawk. She may or may not be Stratos' sister and or girlfriend, depending on the continuity. Meanwhile, on Earth, Batman and the other superheroes, who, by the way, we don't really know who this Batman is yet, but he's explaining the whole situation about what's happening on Earth to He-Man and Teela and some of the others. Teela is still pissed at He-Man for not being as gung-ho as she'd like him to be. So He-Man decides to take a walk around town. Orko's using his magic to disguise He-Man so that he can fit in with everyone else on Earth. I don't know if Orko's using his magic to make He-Man look like he's some sort of special character we've seen before, or whether or not he's just supposed to be some sort of hipster. He-Man ends up saving a woman from killing herself, which that in itself is a crime, being that she just thought about killing herself, so that calls in the Suicide Squad. All crimes are monitored on this planet, including thoughts that you could be committing crime. Enter Bane and Copperhead from the Suicide Squad to enforce this. I absolutely love that He-Man's blocking Bane's punch with absolutely no effort. Turns out Orko's magic is much stronger on Earth, and he's able to disrupt the whole Brainiac tech so that Bane and Copperhead can be free. And immediately when I saw Copperhead's armor, I was thinking, damn, that looks very similar to something that Teela would wear. And lo and behold, He-Man uses this armor to bring back to Teela to wear. We get a nice heartfelt moment between He-Man and the woman that was trying to kill herself, whose name was Regina. Turns out this was an homage to a previous Superman story in the All-Star Superman comic. Superman also saved another person who was contemplating suicide, and there was also a nice heartfelt positive message discussed between the two of them. Anyways, back on Eternia, things aren't going so well. Granny Goodness and some of the other Darkseid people have freed some of Skeletor's minions, and a decrepit, powered-down version of Skeletor has infiltrated Superman's base as an advisor. But it is Skeletor though, so you know he has an entire other plan in play. That's a summary about what happened in this issue, and so far I am liking what's happening, although the cover is a bit deceptive. I mean, I'm sure we will see He-Man take on Superman at some point down the line, but this one makes it seem as though it's happening right here and now. The covers always lie. I mean, they're always trying to make you think one thing and you go and read it and that thing never happens at all. The artwork I think is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of Freddie E. Williams II, although I can see why some critics aren't quite so happy with all the shading that he puts in for a lot of his characters. But I've been a fan of his stuff for years. I particularly liked his take on Tim Drake when he was doing the Robin series. I get it to an extent as to why Teela's upset with He-Man, but she needs to get on board with everything. I don't think she realizes in how much danger she's really in on this planet. And I'm hoping at some point in this story that He-Man's gonna start getting respect. He is the one being recruited to be the wild card to throw a wrench in Superman's plans. But it is only the second issue, so there is a lot more to explore, and I am excited to read every single issue to come out. I personally think that this is a pretty darn good series, and it is one of the few mini-series that I actively look forward to coming out. But I can't really say much more about it. If you're interested in reading it yourself, it is a DC comic book, so that means it's available just about anywhere. So let me go into this video at this point. If you haven't done it yet, check out my Patreon site, check out my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. I would figuratively kill to see He-Man and She-Ra team up together to take on the evil versions of Superman and Wonder Woman. I feel like He-Man and She-Ra could totally kick their asses.